All right, everybody, here's the deal. I am on my way over to SavageCom.entertainment because I fell in love with Kimberly Michael and I want to follow all of her videos. By the way, she's me, I'm her. So follow me over there, SavageCom.entertainment. Look me up, In Love with Kimberly Michael, so you can follow me too. I'm a woman, so I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Around screaming that they're healed from their trauma, which is the whole point of the show is women and accountability and women and accountability. I can hold myself accountable. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's good? Welcome to In Love with Kimberly Michael. I am her. She is me. Biggest shout out to Jim Savage with SavageCom.entertainment, because even in the midst, he comes through. He's such a dope ass dude. If y'all don't know him and don't follow him, which is ridiculous because you're obviously here, but on his other, Facebook, and y'all need to go find him. Like if you follow me here and don't realize what's going on, you need to go follow my producer because he's just like the dopest dude. I can't say enough good shit about him, but I'm going to try. So anyway, I appreciate all you do, Jay, but you know that, and you know that I do, but I want to publicly say I appreciate all you do. I'm sure y'all know that I'm going to be weird because I'm going to be sharing the show. We all know how this works with me. And I'm just posting my TikTok version of me. I should go live one day while I'm live. Can I do that? I don't know. I just wondered if I could. I don't know if I can or not, but that would be kind of dope. All right, I'm posting here now. So, and then I got to go share the show. So anyway, tonight we're going to talk and I don't know, I know we're going to wait to put up, we'll play the video that kind of instigated all this for me, but I want to talk about, I saw a video about men. I don't know if he used the word disregard. He might have used a different word, but basically that's what I got from it. And he might have used that exact word. But basically he said that once a woman disregards, neglects, doesn't acknowledge maybe a man's vulnerability. Yes, you have two phones. No, I do not actually. That they won't come back from that. Like basically most men would choose to would never be vulnerable in front of that particular woman again. But as I've been talking about this and saying it, like speaking it out loud, I haven't even really went into detail with anybody. I just been talking about the show. Like I feel it's really important. I invited several men, which I absolutely positively have got to send out links right now. And to come on the panel to have a conversation, because I think it's really important that we do. I also encouraged and am encouraging the women when the men are up here. And again, I'm going to start sharing the show to make sure. And I mean this respectfully. I swear that I do. I promise you that I do. But for the women that are up here, if you can't be uplifting and encouraging, then just sit there and be quiet. Let the men speak and listen to them to comprehend, not to respond. This is not a place for us to respond to what they're saying. This is a safe space for them to speak to women and us be receptive. Whether we agree with it or not is irrelevant. It is their perspective on it, but we at least need to be receptive. And that's what we're doing, what I'm doing today. So again, as respectfully as possible. I mean, absolutely no disrespect by it at all. If you can't uplift and encourage and support and love, then just observe. Please and thank you. So let me go ahead and share the show really quick to a couple of people. Okay, more than a couple of people, but that's not the point. because I know there were several people that were really interested, but I also know that, time constraints and things like that may have made it to where they can't actually get on the show tonight. But not right now, but later on, maybe in 5 or 10, 15 minutes, Jay can play the video. I'm sure he has it. And then I saw another video. I need to go back and watch that one. And I think I had said this is relatable to this show as well too. But I didn't go back and like go through it and go on it and do all that. I just, yeah. So anyway, oh, I'm gonna send it to my best friend. He usually goes to bed really early, but I think he's on vacation. Maybe he'll come on the show tonight. Oh my God, that would be so dope if he came on the show. I love him. He is super duper dope. But anyway, all right, I'm sending out the link to everybody. So hopefully it's getting motivated from TikTok. I was able to find it. Oh, hey, babies. Hey. Oh, I didn't send, I'm sending, oh, you hear me say, you hear me saying I'm sending the links, right? I just posted on TikTok as well, too. That's kind of funny. And, I have a lot of men in my life that are, I don't know, they're kind of going through it. And I can't get in contact with a couple of them, which makes me, kind of nervous. I hope they're okay. I mean, there's a lot of, really some kind of everything going on. So um, I guess you just can't ever be too sure or not too sure, Anyway, we're definitely going to have a conversation about it because I'm really interested in knowing and understanding. That one liner on this TikTok was not. I'm about to go. I'm about to go. I know you're not gonna be able to hear it, you guys, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go play it for myself. And this was on TikTok too. The video that I'm talking about.
Did y'all see this? I get around you and I get around you and I get around.
Oh, I don't think that was it. That's not it. I send. Jay probably is sick of me. I send so much. I mean, I literally send so much stuff to him that it's ridiculous. So, but anyway, there was a gentleman and he was talking about that's basically all he said. He basically just said that if a man is vulnerable in front of a woman, which I think we have a lot of deep conversations superficially. I think that we see this, a lot of us, as like, oh, when a man cries. That is not what I'm saying. The man does not have to, I mean, we do all understand, excuse my dog. For the sake of understanding, we do all understand that vulnerability has not necessarily anything to do with crying. Right. So, but I think we have this conversation that we should be having about men's vulnerability. I think we have this conversation superficially as, can a man cry? That whole conversation, which is unbelievable to me because, there's women that don't cry. Some women don't necessarily cry. There are unemotional women. I don't know them. I've met a couple. I mean, I'm definitely not one of them. I am uber emotional, very emotional, but that's who I am. Like that's, it's one of the things I know about myself. I cry. My kids call me waterhead. What can I do? I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that I want to not cry. I don't think I'm fine the way I am is what I'm saying. I enjoy my emotional side. And so, of course, I have absolutely no problem with a man being vulnerable in front of me. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm always grateful, and I feel privileged and honored to be in the presence of a man who can be vulnerable. But we're not all, there. So um, I am really hoping that my peoples come on. Like, I'm really hoping my peoples come on. Um, and so that they can talk to me and have a conversation. But again, I know some of them had some time constraints. I know some of them were coming on later. Um, and I don't know how to post my link other than change the link that's already there. So I'm just going to leave the link because I know it takes it to YouTube in my bio for TikTok. But let me get into this is another thing. I don't have any idea how to do certain things. And one of them is like, get in here in my box and send stuff to people. So, but I do have a couple of other people I want to share it real quick too. I forgot about. So let me just do that. And we'll see who pops in over here. Because this kind of conflicts with another group that I'm in on TikTok called The Collective. And as a matter of fact, motivational quotes is from that group, if you will. I consider us a group. So, so they're in that group. She's in that group with me, if you will, if you want to call it a group, Anyway, it's called The Collective, and it's just a really dope group of people that just kind of, we attracted ourselves to each other. We're there for acknowledgement and encouragement and, to speak life and love into each other. And, we all support each other as best we can. It's motivational quotes. Started a podcast recently, and I keep missing. I've missed it twice now, and but I'm gonna do better. And there's a lot of people that do a lot of different things in this collective. So we're all networking together. I mean, it's really kind of dope. So it's like our own little tribe, but it's getting bigger. And and on when we're on lives, a lot of we have these type of conversations. We go there sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time it's fun. It's always positive, but sometimes we get to have these conversations. So let me go read my chats. Let me see who's chiming in. Which video? Can you send me the one you yeah. So you guys, let me check all my messages and stuff because my phone's going off and I can't. So it's the one. Okay, hold on, Jay. Let me just find it. You guys give me like, a second. I thought it was this one, but maybe it wasn't. I know maybe not. You know what, Jay? No, that's not it either. Do you want one? Jay, you need to stop letting me, hi. You need to stop me from being like this. Okay, so this said with the theme on, we could probably put this one up, but let me just listen to it real quick. Oh, men and intimacy. This was the Daily Show. Yeah, you want to put that one up? That's okay. I mean, it's kind of the same idea. This is the same subject, kind of. You know what? Resend it to you. I'm sorry. Hold on. It says definitely the theme Tuesday. And maybe this was what I was thinking, and then I saw the other one as well too. I don't know, but it's all in the same thing. I just resent it to you, Jay. So Jay's gonna play the yeah. Check me out on TikTok. Thanks, Jay. That's my link to TikTok. It's pretty dope. Yes. Under via text, if that's okay with you. Yes, that's absolutely dope. I believe you gave me your phone number too. My messages, my inboxes are absolutely absurd. I'm sure you understand that. And so stuff gets lost in my box. But here's the video. This wasn't the video I was talking about the motivational
article that came out
about
saying that
women and
men in
being
their
vulnerable,
30s
but
are
this
having
is
less sex than ever before, in history. And I think it was framed as, and forgive me, but I'm paraphrasing, it was like framed as they're not having enough sex or not having as much sex as they would like to have. And the number has gone down dramatically over the past few decades. And so obviously that study came out, and I was reading that. And the first thing I thought was like, well, you don't know how much people are having sex. You know how much people told you they're having sex. That's the first thing. But even if it is true, it was interesting to see the conversations that came afterwards, because then some people were saying, this is why we need to have a right to sex in this country. You need to have a right to sex. No, and I think it got, that's why I say bad branding. I think what some people were saying was, we need to decriminalize sex work in America and in the world because we've created these structures that now make people ashamed, and that conversation, I don't even think I'm, close to being qualified to speak on. I think sex workers have actually started many great conversations around how they think the industry should be formalized and changed. I found it interesting how the framing always talks about men and sex alone. No, but it never talks about two things. One, very seldom in society do we talk about how the expectation of sex was often set by a society controlled by men, and women were just subject to it, And as that has changed, you would hope that now the dynamics would change. But it also makes it seem so one-dimensional. They go like, women, men aren't having the sex that they want to have or wish to have. And I go like, how much sex do they think they're supposed to have? Let's start there. Secondly, like, do they think they're entitled to the sex? And third, and most importantly for me, and I really feel like we don't speak about this enough, is people don't realize how often men are experiencing a lack of intimacy. And the only place that they can experience that intimacy is through sex. We've created a society where men are so afraid to be vulnerable with each other, to be, sensitive with each other, to care for each other, to love each other. Even saying that as a guy, you always have to change and be like, you can't just say, I love you. You have to be like, I love you, dog. You know what I mean? You got to throw it, like, you can't just say it. And it's interesting because that is where I do feel women have done a much better job of being there intimately for each other. Not sexually, but intimately. And I think we take for granted how much in society men who say sex is the thing they're not getting are actually struggling with a lack of companionship, of intimacy, of being in a space with a person where they're sharing, everything from serotonin to endorphins to what humans need to feel, And I hope we can change that conversation just a little bit more. I hope we get to the place where guys go, oh, I actually didn't need the sex. I needed to be held. And I live in a society where it's hard to be held unless I'm having sex. Because as guys, you can't just go to a guy and be like, just hold me. True. And I hope the conversation goes there, not just from, well, right to sex. It's like, no, sometimes you just want to be held. There are many sex workers who've talked about this, where they'll talk about how many men will pay them and then say, hey, can we just talk? Can we just sit on the bed and talk? And can you just hold me? Can you just, and I think if we have a little more of those conversations, a few more honest conversations, a few more vulnerable conversations, we may get to a place where it's not just about sex or no sex. It's people actually saying, oh yeah, we are full human beings who require a full spectrum of affection and affections towards us. And in the same way, for many years, great therapists have been saying that women have to be allowed to express that they want and enjoy sex. I think we also have to encourage men in society to go, hey, I want to express and enjoy intimacy despite or apart from sex. And yeah, maybe we can make it happen. What do you think? Yeah, Ben? Yeah? You can try. Yeah? You can try. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
I love you, man. Give me a hug. You try to make this natural. You keep this thing going. That's it, man. I appreciate you, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I love you, man. I love you, man. I love you. I love you.
You're on mute. Give me on mute.
I'm talking this whole time on mute. Tragic. So tragic. So anyway, this had thanks, Jay. This had everything to do with what I'm talking about. It was much. I apparently did not realize it was that long. I didn't see the ending of it. I didn't see like probably the last minute of it. So I'm really glad that I was paying attention to it. But I want to welcome you guys. What I was saying is, thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you, Tony, Leo, and Leo, and what's up, Miss Natasha? Leo and Mr. Mims are from TikTok, and so is motivational motivational quotes. She's on Podbean with me. Go find her, please. And baby girl, you can post your link in the chat. You're able to do that. You know what I mean? And you guys too, post your Leo and Mims, post your TikTok profile link or whatever, or one of your TikToks in the chat so that we could come find you. But thank you guys for showing up. I was saying it's really dope for me that my platforms are commingling. Like my Podbean people are coming over to some of my Facebook people are coming over to TikTok, which is funny to me because my Facebook people don't fuck with me. You know, they know me and so they don't fuck with me. But anyway, they're coming over to like my TikTok, and my TikTok's coming over to here, and some of my TikToks going to Podbean on Sunday nights. Like it's just dope. It's just a dope ass feeling for that anyone wants to take the time, you know, and the effort to have a conversation with me. You know, I'm honored. I was listening this whole time and almost with Trevor's monologue. Also, it's nice to hear, Jim. I love you, dog. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. Is in your bio? Okay, baby. So your Podbean link is in your bio. Okay. Well, you can post it in here if you want to, too, just so you know. In this chat right here, just if you want to. So thank you guys for showing up. So here's the conversation. And Jay can put the link in here. If any of you guys want to come up here and talk to me, please feel free, because this is really about the men. I said in the beginning of the show, and I'm going to reiterate as respectfully as I can possibly say this. This is specifically for men to have a safe space to actually be vulnerable in and have a conversation about vulnerability and what it feels like for a woman to disregard that vulnerability, and anything in between that. Okay. And what I said at the very beginning of the show was respectfully as possible. If you're a woman, I need you to be in a space where you can either encourage, uplift, or support what they are saying. And if you cannot come in those forms out of love, then just sit down, have a seat, and be quiet and listen. Because this is a safe space for them to have a moment for them to be able to say, we are not here to listen. We are here to comprehend. We are not here to respond to them. We are here to listen and be receptive. If you are a woman who's not receptive and not teachable, this is a really good place and a really good energy for you to practice being that way. That's just me saying what I say. So Jay will post the link to get on the show. If any of you guys want to come up and have a conversation, you can. Hopefully he's going to post the link in the chat. 8:26. Oh, no, he's not going to be able to do that right now. Okay, so how do I do it? I don't think I can. I missed his message. So he's going to be away from the platform for like 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to run my mouth. I hate it, guys. I'm so sorry. I feel really bad about that. But as soon as he gets back, he's going to post the link and have you guys. And I can't, even if I had the link, I can't. Look at him. He's so dope. When was that? At 8:30? Oh, he might still be. If he is, if you're still here, Jay, I know he said he was about to do it. So he had something else he had to do. This is what I'm saying. I say this all the time. I attract the most amazing men in my life. Like they just, time conflicts. If there's something going on in their life, I mean, they literally just love on me. I love that. I think it's the dopest shit in the world. I absolutely adore all the men that are in my life that are like stuck in my life, that are here, that, belong to my tribe. They really are spiritual leaders, and they really are a man's man, if you will. I hate to say it that way, but that's the truth. That's how I feel about it. Like they're a man's man, and I mean, I'm truly grateful. I feel like based on the experiences that I've had and the relationship that I had, that I feel like it was on purpose. Like the universe needed me to be able to know that men like this, right? Able for me to experience men like this. I have 2 sons, and I can't be my mother and my grandmother were bitter about men in general. Like everything out of their mouth was bad mouthing men. I mean, like from stuff them trying to be funny to just straight like aggressively and furiously dogging men. And I was told this story before. When my oldest son was born, I had to have a conversation with both of them. And I was like, look, I'm not trying, but back then I probably talked like that. I'm going to be raising a man, a good man with a good heart and a good soul and a good spirit. And I need you to stop talking about men like this. Like y'all just dog men. I'm literally, you guys, every day, all day long. Now, I don't know if it has anything to do with, I don't know about other cultures. I was raised in my culture, and I was only around white folks, but they bashed men, bashed them. And here's the crazy thing about all of it. They bashed my father and they bashed my grandfather, my mom's dad. I mean, they bashed all men in general, but they specifically bashed. And the crazy thing is that, I mean, my dad was not perfect by all means, but he was a good dude. Like my dad might not have been a great dad, but he was a great guy. My mom's mom, he literally was an angel on earth. He literally was. He had the worst temper in the world, but it rarely came out. Like maybe once a year he'd get mad, and he had every right to. Him and my grandmother were verbally violent with each other every day. Like every day she would threaten to slit his throat or bust him in the head with a frying pan or something violent. And they would scream and holler at each other and curse each other out and dog each other out. So for him to blow up once a year, but he never was aggressive with my grandmother, ever, or me or my mom. But my point is, he was a really good man, and they just, oh God, every word out of their mouth, everything they said, everything they did, it was just constant bashing. And I told them they had to stop. I was like, you have to change your verbiage. You're not going to be able to I'm not going to allow you to be around him if you're going to dog out men all the time. Like, how is he going to believe in himself? How is he going to love himself? How is he going to care for himself if everything that you do and everything that you are, hold on, you guys, my regular followers know how this goes. My other regular followers don't. There's one particular person. I'll send you the link in Messenger. But Jay is away, so you're going to have to sit there for a second till he gets back, and he'll put you on. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. All right, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me send this link real quick, you guys. One of the gentlemen that I invited to the show is 5 minutes, Kim. Okay, dope. Okay, great. So that's great. I don't know if Jay can hear me. I don't think he can hear me, but he just sent me 10 minutes, so that's good. But let me go send this link real quick to one of my invites. he likes to come in backstage. That's what he likes to do. So we accommodate him. At least I do anyway. Forward. 1 second, you guys. Don't go anywhere. Don't go nowhere. Talk in the chat. Post your links, your TikTok links in chat while I'm doing this. Please. Okay, I have to type in his name. Okay. All right. So Jay will be back in 5. When Jay gets back, oh, you can hear me. Oh, okay. Soul's coming in the back way. So just FYI, I told him that you weren't able to probably bring him in just yet. So as soon as you can bring him in, I'm saying, you know, he likes anyway, I don't have to explain it. Jay knows what I'm saying. We don't do this every time he comes on. So, but anyway, so my mom kind of took it in and realized that was the case. And so she did. My grandmother, it was a little bit more challenging, a lot more challenging. And, but I demanded it from them. Like I didn't want them speaking like that about men in front of my son. And it wasn't a good situation. I didn't even know back then what I know now about the laws of attraction and The Secret and the laws of I didn't even know anything about that then. That's what's crazy about me. Like I was doing stuff. I was doing, I guess, evolved behaviors before I even knew what or why I was doing them. Like I couldn't have explained it like I'm explaining it to you now. I just knew I didn't want them to talk bad about a man in front of a man that I'm trying to, in front of a child that I'm trying to raise into a man. And as a woman, no doubt. I mean, his father was there, kind of. And sorry. And I mean, he was around, but anyway, I didn't want them to speak like that in front of him. And I demanded that they didn't. And I mean, it's obvious to me now that everybody does it. Like everybody kind of man bashes. And everybody knows that I'm a huge advocate of men. And I have no desire to speak badly about them. I remember, Jay's almost back, I know, so I'm just going to tell this quick story. I remember, so for those of you who don't know, about to find out today, back in the day, I was an evangelist at an AME church. Long time ago, 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago, and in Florida. And of course, as an evangelist, there's a lot of requirements when you are in the pulpit at a church, at least at an AME church. There are a lot of requirements. You have to be at all the church meetings. You have to be at all the funerals, all of the weddings, anything that it's literally the baptisms. But the worst thing, which I don't have a problem with any of those things, except for the meetings. Like that wasn't my thing. I don't like church meetings and stuff. And anyway, I remember one of the church meetings we went to, they were voting on the members and removing them from the roster as an actual member. And the only time my ex ever came is when I preached. When I preached and I was in the pulpit, he would come to church that day, but he never came any other day, right? And so I remember, what's an AME church? African Methodist Episcopal. Are you being funny? Tony, you're being funny, right? African Methodist Episcopal Church. And so anyway, they were, and the pastor looked at me. Now, mind you, this is not the pastor, but my ex. I'm in a dehumanizing relationship with him. I'm beaten and tortured and all those things. And the pastor says to me in the meeting, do you want to remove Mr. Hicks from the roster? And I said, I'm not removing him. And one of the other guys was like, well, he doesn't come to church. And I said, I don't care what he does or doesn't. If one of y'all want to remove him, feel free. But I'm not going to speak one way or the other, nor am I going to do something like that in reference to my husband. We called it, everybody thought he was my husband. That's a whole nother show. We were together for 20 years though. So, oh, I thought you were being funny to me. Like, I don't know why I thought you were being funny, but I thought you were being funny. Yeah, AME. I mean, it's just a type of church, but it's African Methodist Episcopal. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad. I didn't think about it that way. So I was thinking you were asking me, like legitimately asking me, Tony, and I was confused as hell. Like, really? What? But anyway, I refuse to speak badly about him in public or even have anything to do. I said, if one of y'all want to do it, you can do it, but I'm not doing it. And I'm not speaking on his behalf. And I don't care. You know, in my head, I was thinking, I don't care how shitty he's being or not showing up or whatever he's not doing. I'm just not going to be a part of it. It ain't going to happen. And, part of that could have been fear that if he found out or if I had to tell him, that I had to do that it might've been a problem. Why would I disrespect him like that? To join the show, here we go. So the link. So Jay, thank you, Jay. Jay just posted the link. So if you guys want to come on, so you'll go backstage first and he'll pull you over. And we can come on and we can talk again for the women who are here. If you just, oh, wait, quick pause since Jay's back. Please, everybody, like the show, subscribe, like, and share the shit out of the show. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would do that. And again, for the women that are here, we're going to sit quietly and be receptive, and hopefully we'll be teachable as some of the men speak on vulnerability and what that looks like, and hopefully also speak on the clip that was up earlier from The Daily Show, and give them a safe space to be. We're not here to respond to them, or we're only here to uplift them and encourage them and give them a safe space. And if you can't do any of those, then just quietly sit. Just quietly sit there. It's fine. It's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. So anyway, let me go back and look at and make sure I didn't miss any things. You guys, I'm terrible at talking and reading. It's not my thing. And for those of you who are just coming on, Motivational Quotes has a show on Podbean as well. Her link is in her bio. Leo Thompson is on TikTok, and let me go back. Mikos Mims as well too is on TikTok. You guys go check them out, follow them, please. And honestly, since Jay's back, he'll probably end up start putting things. Got it, Kim. Thank you. And Natasha, if you're on being Canadian, I know you do, Tony. I know you do. But I just had a moment. I'm going to be honest. So, but anyway, the link's in the chat. Let me check my phone because again, we have some people who, so interesting enough, Jay, did you get invited to the chat on the Lapeef show? I got invited to their chat, which I thought was very interesting. But yeah, I just wondered, just curious if you got invited to that chat as well. All right, like, share, and comment on. Keep commenting, not comment. Like, share the show, all of those things. And again, okay, we're good. On my end, we're good. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Yeah, next week's show too, by the way, let's just talk about next week's show. So apparently, again, unbeknownst to me, because if it's something that doesn't pertain to me, I'm really bad about I'm not going to listen, right? And so I didn't know that there was these white women who have gone rampant on TikTok about the Black Girl Follow thing. I had no idea that there was a big controversy over that. So anyway, my next 2 weeks are probably going to be devoted back to how I originally started my podcasting, where I spoke on I never spoke on anything else. The first 2 years of my podcast, maybe 3, I only spoke on systemic racism, oppression, and Black liberation. And so I think I'm going to devote my next 2 shows because, I've seen a lot of lately, there's a lot going on. And because the media is not putting that at the forefront, everybody thinks that things are, as they were or better than before or whatever be the case. And it's not the case. There is a lot. They know what people are where. I mean, they have delegated us into these groups, these big groups. Facebook people are one way, TikTok people are another, Instagram people are another way. It's becoming obvious to me that they've broken us down into tribes. Twitter people, you know how many times you guys I went on Twitter? Never was able to. I never got into it. I was never able to. I never got it. I went, they have a live version of Twitter. And I did that, I want to say maybe 3 times. Oh, I'm sipping on Moscato. I want to say I went live 3 times. Every time I went live, people were literally like completely insulted by me. I mean, they didn't like shit that I had to say. They were furiously like, I'm getting off this show. I can't believe you're saying and I can't believe my son came on and was talking. He pissed the whole room off, literally. And obviously it was meant to be, I meant it for it to be, it was all of my subjects on there for some reason were very controversial, but this one in particular was extremely controversial and everybody lost their shit. And literally we're like, I'm getting off, I'm hanging up, I'm getting off. They were really bent out of shape, which is why I appreciate, I've never had any issues here. I don't know if people do have issues or not, but I've never had any. I say whatever, but I've never had any issues anywhere with what I've said. I did say, pussy and dick on TikTok, on 2 different TikToks, and the sound got taken down. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. So I just changed it from Yoni and I changed dick to girth. But I put up a poem today and I used the word dick and there's no problem now. So I don't know. I've heard people say way more vulgar things than that on TikTok, but that's what they were doing. So, oh, and again, there's the link, you guys. And I know a couple of the guys are going to be late, but I know Jay Soul was trying to get on. So I don't know if I sent him the right link. I forward him. Will you do it for me just in case? I forwarded him the link you send me to get on. He likes that backdoor link. I guess that's what it's called. I guess that's not what it's called, but I think I sent it to him. Is that the right one? That you send me on mine, is that the right one for me to send to him? I'm going to tell him you're sending it. Jim is sending again. And I never heard back from 7. So I don't know if you heard back from him. I told him to hit me or you up, Jay. But I haven't heard back from him. I was really hoping that he would come on. And I was hoping my people from TikTok were going to come up here. Some of them were, y'all are on live on TikTok. Y'all come get live on here with me and have a conversation. Because I haven't done TikTok live myself. I don't know about everybody else, but I haven't done TikTok live myself. But I really don't want to continue the conversation and have all these, this conversation without some of the men up here, talking about their viewpoint. That was the whole point of the show. So I'm gonna, sip and everything a little bit. Let me go back and read comments. That's always a good thing to do, right? And Natasha, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. Natasha's been pretty much a regular lately, huh? And I'm very grateful. What you said? Oh yeah, I already went through the comments. Yeah, I'm sipping on Moscato. I usually have a drink. I mean, I'm a big bar girl. I like to sit at the bar. I usually have a drink a couple of times a week, but I haven't been drinking because I was doing that whole alkaline thing. And then I was like, you know, there was a conversation had about 90-10, like as long as like 90% of what I'm eating is alkaline and the other 10% can be, whatever. I chose this for my other 10%. So for my 10% that is not alkaline. But my understanding is that they're making an alkaline vodka. Now, I'm not a vodka drinker, so that I don't give a shit one way or the other if it's alkaline or not. And if I was, 100% alkaline, and I don't think I would care about drinking a few bourbons here and again. I might even have a bourbon every night. I don't think it would bother me. When I get to the 1,000 followers on TikTok, so I'll start going live. 1,000 followers. Oh yeah. So the group that I'm in over there, the collective, it's really just a couple of people, but they've accidentally started this whole movement kind of thing. I mean, everybody's doing like follow. I don't know. They called something, again, superficial to me, but they call it something, and where people just go to get followers. But this turned into something more. It turned into a much bigger, like a network platform, and we specifically want you to engage. Yes, but it's stuck now. What's stuck? But it's stuck now. What's stuck? Okay. Oh, got you. Hold on, you guys. Let me respond to Jay. He can't hear me where he is, so let me tell him that I hear him. Okay. Understood. All right, sorry. I know I'm bad tonight about the whole back and forth. Follow for a follow. Yeah, but listen, yeah, but what we do on there, and I say we because I really am pretty active on there. I mean, I at least go on even if I don't have time for a few minutes. And I always take some followers with me, but they actually have you go on and engage with the people's pages, and then they highlight people. Like you can get up there and show what you do if you have a business, or show your thing. Like one night it was after night, like there's rules on the live there, I guess, or they just make them up, I don't know. But if it's just a joke, but they talk about after 9:30, like you can say what you want, or after 9 or whatever, right? And for those of you who don't follow me on TikTok, I do a lot of sensual poetry. And so like one night they had me read a couple of my poems on the live or whatever. They were like, it's after 9, you can read them. So I read all the good and juicy ones. Yes, Jay did put the link. So if y'all back up to 8:46, there's a link in here if you guys want to jump on the show. Yeah, I sent that. And I don't know if it's the same link, but there's a link in the chat for you guys to be able to jump on. Let me tell him I forwarded this. I forwarded. You send me. Okay. So for those of you who are kind of on here a lot, one of the guests that comes on here all the time is Soul, and he, like literally every time he's on, it's a whole production to get him on the show. I don't know why. I just don't know why, but I swear every time, and it's fine. Like I love him, it's great, but it's a whole thing. It's just funny to me that it's him that is always, going through it. But yeah, we do a follow for a follow, but we want you to go in, and then every week most of us that are in this collective group will pin 3 new pins on the 3 new pins. And so we don't want you to just follow us. We want you to go to our page, watch the videos, not spam us, like it, comment, and then either save or share if you can, because we're looking for people who actually engage with you, who are actually gonna, because people are so concerned about followers, they're not really concerned about, relationships or engagements. Even like, you don't have to have a relationship. I shouldn't say it, that's kind of heavy, but engagements, like you want people to talk to you and say shit to you, like, hey, great poem, or hey, great new bathing suit, or whatever, your football team's great. I don't know, but I'll spill my drink. So this group, specifically the collective, is promoting engagements as well as follows as well too. So, and Tony, what are you doing? Are you working? Like, why are you up here on the panel? You're not afraid to be up here and show your face and talk. What are you doing? And did Mims leave? That's the one thing about this I don't know who's here and who's not, and that's and Lee, I'm pretty sure Mr. Mims was on a live last night. I'm pretty sure that's how I came across him. And there's the link to get folding clothes. Okay, well then there should be no problem with you coming on, because I know you got some shit to say. Y'all, if conscious walls on Facebook, and Tony, put your TikTok up here too. I mean, y'all are more than welcome to post any of your stuff in here, any of your links to whatever platform you're on, anything that you're trying to, or you're in the process of growing, or you want someone to follow. You guys are more than welcome to post your TikToks, or again, whatever, your IG, your Facebook, wherever you are, that is, that's the platform that you frequent, that you're doing. You did? Okay. All right. I'm going back over the chat now to see, because I know Jay posted. Oh, Jay posted it for you too. Oh, and Leo Thompson. So Leo Thompson is not Leo Thompson on TikTok. I know that much. I'm going to tell you who he is on TikTok. Let me back up. Oh, I'm not going to remember the whole thing that he is, but I think he said who he was. Yeah, Royal 2 F Grit Gang. And I could be fucking that all the way up. Definitely Royal, and then TO. So Royal TOFGRI. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can't comment. I can copy and paste it, but I can't comment. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's Royal 2 F Grit Gang. That's who he is on TikTok. And Mr. Mims, I'm calling him Mr. Mims because I feel like that's who he is on TikTok, but I'm sure that it's not. So let me tell you who he is too. Mims. He is Mr. Mims. Mr. Mims 81. Mr. Mims 81. That's Mr. Mims on TikTok. He was on a live last night. This is how I, are running across quite a few people. So, definitely. You guys are killing me, by the way. You're supposed to be up here. And my other guy, I think he might be listening, but he's at work. So I know he's not going to be able to chime in. And then let me see if I sent the link to someone else that was going to come on. I probably did not. Now I did. Shit. Let me see who else was going to come on the show. Hold on. Oh, I know who was going to come on the show. I forgot to invite him. Okay, anyway. And then hopefully So will come back and try to get on again, but we will see what happens. He likes to make a grand entrance, I think. Jay, what do you think? He's a little dramatic like me. He's a little dramatic like me. So anyway, I guess we'll just go back to talking about the conversation. So as I said in the beginning, or at least a little halfway through or whatever, I love a man to be vulnerable. And you know what? While we're talking about it, let's look it up really quick, please. Y'all know I do this a lot. I want the actual definition. I want the actual verbiage that they say. So vulnerable means susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. We're in a vulnerable position. In need of special care, support, or protection because of age, disability, or risk of abuse or neglect. Liable to higher penalties. That says bridge. So, what is the meaning of being vulnerable? Being vulnerable means being in a position where other people can hurt you. It often means expressing the side of yourself about which you have the least confidence or certainty and allowing others to respond to them. God, I can't believe, Jay, honestly, I cannot believe that I sent him the wrong link. Thanks, Natasha. Mr. Mims. Oh, Mr. Mims, anyone? Yes, that is his. Yes. Thank you. Because they might have jumped off. Again, I can't see. I can never see who's here unless you guys are actually talking to me. I can't see or who it is. So, and you know what? I can do this too. I think I can go on here on my YouTube. Let me find his link too. I don't know how any of this works. I've never shared someone's profile. But I think I'm about to do it right now. Watch this. I'm going to go on YouTube, which I never do, on my phone while I'm on here. So y'all are just going to have to bear with me. Let me see if I can do it. Here's my live show. Let me press pause. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. This is Leo's. Jay posted mine. And, but y'all know I'm across the board in love with Kimberly Michael. So while I'm pausing, taking a breath, and we're doing the TikTok thing, everybody subscribe. Because if you subscribe, Jay produces multiple shows during the week. They range from everything from sports to me. I think that's a huge range, but he has a lot of great people as hosts. He has a lot of great shows. They have a lot of great content. So make sure you subscribe, like this show, and then share the shit out of it. And you can share the shit out of I think you can share the whole YouTube profile and mine as well too. But just share the shit out of this show right now to wherever that you can. So, I don't think they let you do that on TikTok. Like you can't post a link. Can you? I don't know. I don't know how any of that works. I'm still not up on that whole thing. But anyway, so back to the conversation about men being vulnerable. I just want to say again, I didn't listen to that whole video. That was me being very impatient. I thought I did. There must have been a pause or something where I felt that he was done and I stopped it because I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't see probably at least the whole last minute of it. I didn't even realize it was that long. And I'm speaking for men and I can't. I can only speak for myself as a woman in front of men, who have been vulnerable with me. Hopefully, I took care of that. Like I took care of their vulnerability. I held it in regards. I mean, by take care of it, and that I did not put them in a place where they would never be vulnerable with me again. Now, with that being said, I can remember doing some ugly shit when I was younger, like being shitty. And I remember I was living with a guy. I was 22, 23, probably. I lived in a bougie neighborhood in Orlando in a fancy apartment complex, like super bougie. Like back then, this is in the early 90s, my rent was $500 for a one bedroom. And that was a lot of money back then. Like my I had a 1-bedroom before. It was $250 a month. I swear to God, I can't make that shit up. It was $250 a month in Orlando. And anyway, so I was in this bougie apartment in a golf course place over at Metro West. Metro West is what it was called in Orlando. And I had a 1-bedroom apartment. And my boyfriend at the time went out. We were going through it. We were definitely going through it. And he left on a Friday night. And this is before cell phones. We had beepers, but I don't even know if he had a beeper. But it was before cell phones. Yeah, it was before cell phones. And he went out on a Friday night and he did not fucking come back. Friday night, he did not come back. Saturday, he did not come back. Saturday night, he did not come back. Sunday night. So on Monday morning, I had to go to work. I called my front office and I told them to change the locks on my door, that I felt like my apartment had been compromised because I was the only one on the lease. He was not on the lease. I felt like my apartment had been compromised. And I left and I went to work and they came and changed the locks. That day at 4:00, he called me and said, I'm at the apartment and I can't get in. My key doesn't work. I said, you're right, it doesn't. Your shit's on the other side of the door, packed neatly. And when you give me your half of the rent for this month, I'll be more than happy to give you your shit. Of course, his mom called. You can't keep his stuff. I said, yes, I can. And I will until he gives me his rent. Like, it's just that simple, right? Anyway, long story short, of course, I mean, I had been with him for over a year, maybe even 2 years. I'd been living with him for at least a year. And I'd been with him for, I think, 2 years at that point, maybe a year and a half. But anyway, so we, were trying to work it out, I guess. I wasn't trying to work it out, but he didn't know that. And he wouldn't tell me where he was or what he was doing. And so I was like, I fucking lied to his face. I ain't even gonna lie. I lied to his face. I said, just be honest with me. If you tell me, I just need to know so that we can work through it. I won't be upset and I won't get mad. And, I just need to know so that we can, move forward. I already knew it was a chick. I mean, I'm not fucking stupid. He was gone for 3 days. Where the hell was he at? He went at his mama's house. I went there. I knew everything. I knew all of his friends and his family. Like, it was no problem for me to go to the house. So he wasn't there. And I got him, I coerced him into telling me, and he like broke down. Okay, well, what happened? I met her and I went, but I didn't do anything, whatever. So fucking stupid. And I slept on the couch for 3 days. For Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, he said he slept on the couch. And then he felt so bad that he couldn't do anything. But he knew once he didn't come home on Friday, he was all sad. And again, maybe he wasn't being vulnerable. Maybe he was just lying his fucking face off. I mean, that could very well be true. But I mean, I went off. I kicked him out. I take his shit. Like, it was it for me. I didn't talk to him no more after that. Oh yeah, I did, because he kept coming. He came back a couple of times trying to get back with me and shit. And it was like, yeah, no, it was like, it was over for me. Like, we're not doing that. We're definitely not doing that. And I don't know, maybe, I guess it's only been recently in the last few years that I've been in the presence of men who are healed enough and evolved enough to be vulnerable in my presence. And so I absolutely, like, I nurture their vulnerability. If that's even that's what it feels like to me. That's what I choose to do. And, like, I think it's beautiful and amazing to me that they're able to do that, to be able to be that. And like I said in the beginning, the men that are in my life are already dope ass men. Like, they're a man's man. Like, they're, evolved and healed, and they're very masculine, beautifully masculine. They're spiritual leaders. They're wise. Yes, I want you to talk to me. Tony, are you serious right now? You guys, the wise man that I talk about. So Tony, so on here, motivational quotes, her boyfriend. Yes, I want you to talk to me. You're so sweet. I appreciate you. Her boyfriend, I call him a wise man. He came on my Podbean one night and like dropped mad knowledge. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I was like, I was telling them about you. He's the wise man that I always speak about. Conscious TV, Tony. He's the one that I always talk about being like the first wise man that I really encountered in my life. And it's been a couple of years now. And, he's just dope. His mind is crazy dope. I wish I can get up here and talk with you. You can get up here and talk with me, even though I said the women couldn't come on the panel. And I say that because the men aren't coming on the panel. Now, if men, you can come up, but and you can always come up. I just was trying to encourage the men to come up, but you can come up. Tony can come up. I would love for Tony to come up. And just when I'm going to say when, I'm going to speak it when the men that I invited that had some time restrictions going on, when they show up, we're going to definitely let them have the floor 100%. So, but yeah, you can come up since the men aren't coming on just yet. All right, let me send one more message. Oh, y'all still can get to the link? Can y'all still get to the link? Oh, there it is. Natasha put it up. And did y'all, like, Jay, I don't want you to play that whole video, but did y'all see, I think everybody's on here, though, saw the video, the Daily Show video. And if not, just put the link from that video in the comments and let them, like, kind of watch it. Because it was long, right? It was like, I think it was like four minutes. It wasn't 3 minutes. It had to be longer than 3 minutes. I don't think that was a regular 3-minute video. I think it was a little bit longer than that. It was great. It was a great video, though. It's not the one that I thought I sent you. I'm not even going to lie. And I could probably attempt to go find, I know I sent it somewhere. I know for a fact that I sent the link somewhere. I just have no idea where I sent it. And I don't know how to find I feel like I saved it. If I didn't send it, I saved it. That's the TikTok. Oh, that's the Facebook. It originated on Facebook, maybe? I don't know. Let me see if I can find the one that I saved. But it wasn't, here's another thing. We're going to have another conversation too while we're waiting. It was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I saw parts of one of his 50 million infamous wise speeches that he's gave. Anyway, it was really good. And it was about, it was kind of about the same thing, kind of, but it was really like, choosing a good person and to take care of, the way a man should take care of a woman, which is, when I speak about the way a woman should take care of a man. And I brought this up on my last podcast. And if not on my last podcast, I might've said something about it on TikTok, but I brought up that I think personally that part of like what we're saying about a man being vulnerable, I feel like that shit started in their childhood. So many men I've talked to and so many men that are now coming out and speaking and having conversations with people. Hello, my love.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm great. You look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's the show going?
So the last two, no one joined, but the first one I still talked. The second one I didn't really talk, but I do plan on possibly going live tomorrow on Podbean. And even if no one joined, I'm still just going to talk because I know they're still able to listen to it. So it was a
Yeah.
little bit of disencouragement, but
I talked to 0 people for a couple of nights. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you how I ended up with followers. I hung out with another Podbeaner and we went back and forth. And that's why I said I got to do better. But I did find you. I thought I found you and was following you, but I didn't get the notification for Sunday's show. And I am terrible if I don't get a notification. So I'm going to check and see if I have to, I thought that if I just follow you, I get notified. No, I do not.
I think it's a way. So when you go live on there, I believe I get a notification. That's a strong thought.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, no. Jay's calling you. I'm immediately back. I am immediately back. I don't know what I touched, but it was the wrong thing. Okay, so, all right. But yes, so how I got followers. I started following another Podbeaner. I went on his podcast. He'd come on mine, and then his people started following me, and then their people started following. It's kind of like the TikTok thing where you get behind somebody and you do. So I am absolutely next Sunday going to be there so that we can do the whole swappity boppity thing.
Yeah, that was another reason why I kind of wanted a co-host as well to like get it out there.
Yeah, we did that. We did that too. Like I would go on his show and be a co-host. He would come on my show and be a co-host often, like on the regular, and then sometimes he'd have other people that would be on the panel on the regular basis. And I mean, it's kind of how it, all kind of started and ran around. So,
Okay.
So you live with a very wise man.
Yes, he can hear you.
Do you guys have these conversations at all? I would imagine that you have something similar, but I don't. But have you had these conversations, or do you have them
About him going co-host with me?
about men and
Which the topic was.
Yeah, vulnerability and being like, is he vulnerable in front of you? Do you give him a safe space to be? Is that something you guys? Because I know you guys are working, collectively to evolve as well. So
that was how we came so close. Like that was technically how our open relationship came. If like I don't know how to really explain it, but like it was basically just a night that we were talking and just in the house and the conversation came about and I feel like
telling on myself.
Yeah, there you go. So like basically, yeah, we was a little tipsy and he was telling on himself and it came to my knowledge of that I knew what I wanted. So outside of me knowing what I wanted, I let him know like it's an open space and I'm not going to knock you of your feelings because like I said before, I'm big on feelings. So how you feel is important. So like he never had, as you said before, men never had the opportunity to ever be vulnerable or to ever have that person, as you said before, not comparing the two. It's okay for men to cry. And for me to meet someone like that outside of my dad and us be able to connect and for me to let him know, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay for you to express your feelings and your emotions and it's okay. Like, yeah, you're supposed to be hard, but it's okay because if we're able to do it, why aren't you? And that's just how I feel on it.
I mean, yeah, and for those men who don't, then they don't. But for those who do, we need to give the space to. So, I appreciate you. One of the reasons why I love you guys is because you're transparent. And I think it's important because people, they're 25, right? Both of y'all are 25.
He turned 26 this month. I'm 25 still till next month.
So, I love you, but they're babies. Like they're babies. And to be this evolved and have the mindset that they have, I mean, they can literally rule the world by the time they're 30. And I believe that they probably will. I mean, to be honest with you. So, But that's why I love them, because they're so transparent. Like, that they will speak on anything as they need to, because people your age need to see these conversations. They need to know that people do have these conversations, because they can, whether it's your friend or foe, or whether it's somebody on here, they're watching you say, I gave him a safe space, and that led us to a deeper relationship, a different relationship, a different dynamic. But that doesn't mean that qualifies for everybody, but it shows that you gave him space, and that gave y'all a different kind of space to have. Again, this is why I do this. Like, here I am, it's transparent. I'm never ashamed, but some other people might be embarrassed about the shit I say, but
Right.
but here it is. This is what I'm going through. And if it's even relatable to you and can help you on any level at all, you know what I mean? There's so many men. And I think this goes back to like their moms. The more I've thought about this show this week, and the more I've had conversations, I believe that that a lot of men who already aren't vulnerable are not vulnerable because of the mothers that they had. Because their mothers were moving in a really harsh energy, whether it be masculine, whatever verbiage you want to put to it, but they were, they weren't nurturing. They had to be in this different type of energy for whatever reasoning. They were there, they were. And I find a lot of men really having these intimate conversations with me about, their childhood, and being vulnerable about that. And then, it leads them to big, big vulnerability energy later on. You know what I mean? So, hi, Tony.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you, kind sir?
I'm all right. Mic check, mic check. We in here?
Mic check, mic check. Yes, it's good to see your face.
Good to see you.
So what's going
You
on? How you
beautiful.
feel?
I
Let's
feel all right.
go. Let's go.
I feel all right. How
Yeah,
you feeling?
I'm phenomenal. I get to get up every day and do what I love. So there's that.
You doing good?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm proud for you. You've made some major moves in the last couple of years that I've known you.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
You're doing great.
I want
So
to I want to say something about you though.
you do?
Yeah.
What do you want to say about me?
Well, I just want to talk about what I noticed about you. One thing I noticed about Kim, she's passionate, very passionate. She's sincere. It's kind of rare, you know what I'm saying? But I know that for a fact. We didn't have many conversations. You're passionate and sincere. That's a good combination. That's like good ingredients. So I'm saying that for a reason. You ready for me?
Bring it.
Okay. The subject is men's vulnerability, right? The first word coming to my mind is to be naked, to be exposed. So to be able to see any flaws, if any flaws exist. But this is the thing right here. I want to be able to speak professionally and prophetically. Do you give me permission?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I trust you.
Okay. I feel and I see from my vantage point that this is a hostile environment for men. To be able to grow, for anything to be able to grow, it has to be in a harmonious environment. If it's always under attack, it's under stress. This hinders a man from saying, okay, let me take off layers, because that's where the vulnerability come in at, taking off layers. It's like an onion. It'll make you cry the more you peel the layers. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So men are in a hostile environment. It's like you're in a war. You're in a war zone. The alpha male, the masculine man, the spirit of manhood is under attack. Therefore, it's like when you go back in the biblical days when the prophets were was under attack, they hid in caves. You know what I mean? They
Mm,
had 50 different prophets in different cages. They might have 50 in this cave, 50 in that cave, and they had one guy that would come and feed them and bring them water. You know what I mean? It feel like that's what's going on when it comes to the masculine men, the men
mm,
that are real men. You know what I'm saying? Think about our culture. Look at everything that's going on in our culture. It's pointed toward taking the manhood out. Because if you take the manhood out, you take the whole house. It's a scripture that says, in order to take over a house, you have to first bind the strong man. The strong man is the headship. He's the covering. His job is instilling him from a child that he's supposed to be a protector. If he don't feel safe himself, how can he fully protect? Because this is the thing about being safe. Your enemy's supposed to be out there.
mm-hmm,
Women are saying nowadays, "I'm the table," and it's a
mm-hmm,
verse. It's a verse that says that he prepared the table before me in the presence of my enemies. But you can't be the table and the enemy.
mm,
Your job is to be a table. That means support. Basically, your job is you are basically here to be able to support somebody that's going somewhere. So if you're going to be support, you can't be an enemy and a supporter at the same time. It's a contradiction.
mm-hmm.
So men are not feeling free to be who they are openly. Barbershop conversations, you be surprised what the barbershop conversations are. Why you go to the barbershop and you feel like it's almost like therapy. And some men are afraid of therapy, you know what I'm saying? I've been to therapy. I know it's good.
Right.
I know what it could do for you. You know what I mean? It's important. But a lot of men, and I talk to men all the time, they feel a way, but most of them ain't gonna say how they feel because the moment they say anything contrary to what's being displayed in the narrative, it's like wild dogs just come after them, a pack of wild dogs.
Mm,
So to keep yourself safe, you keep your layers. It's just like if you in the cold, it's a word. The world is cold, right? If you in a cold, what you do when it get cold? You start putting stuff on, extra things on to protect yourself.
mm-hmm,
You have to create an environment where it's warm enough for a man to say, okay, it's warm enough. I feel enough love. I can take some stuff off now. I can show who I really am. I can show you the passion that I really have. I don't have to worry about being hurt because you're not my enemy. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
I have to feel and know and understand that you're not my enemy. It's I like Proverbs, right?
I know you love Proverbs.
Proverbs 31. Now I'm going to read something to you. Proverbs 31. Some of my favorite verses. 31 verse 19. No, 31 verse 10. He said, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" Start off with a question, right? For her price is far above rubies, right? Describing you, giving you the adjective, how you can notify and be able to identify her, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the part that always get me, and this is where the safety is. And then I'm gonna yield the floor. Verse 11 says, "The heart of her husband does safely trust in her." How? And this is what come right behind that. So that he shall have no need of spoil. Listen to verse 12. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. That's it. I'm giving you my spiel.
And I appreciate you giving me your spill. Teddy, hold on I'm going to mute for 1 second. We're getting ice out of the ice maker, which is excessively loud. I'm sure y'all didn't want to hear that. So just wanted to pause it for a quick second. So, of course, when I was in church, I had Proverbs 31. I think it's Proverbs 31, right? The virtuous woman, the whole, the
I
whole
can't
thing.
hear you.
I unmuted. You still can't hear me? You still can't hear me? I
I can hear
unmuted.
you.
You can
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes.
Okay. No, everybody else can hear me. You can't hear me. Everybody else can. I don't know why he can't hear me.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you for some reason.
I don't know. Tiffany can hear me. She can hear me. She can hear me.
I'm not sure why I can't hear you.
Mm. Jay, any insight to why he can't? Let me see if Jay says anything.
Disconnect your AirPods and then
You
connect
can
them
still
again.
hear
Like
me?
put your AirPods in the case and then take them out.
You might have to type him that.
Yeah.
I can't type in the chat, so on here, so maybe he will do again. See, that's how I feel now. I know that you're so. Tony can explain his background if he wants to. I know what his background is, but I also know where he's at right now, which is why I don't want to. Which is why he's one of the few men that I will yield to when with the verses. I don't yield to too many men who pull out a Bible in front of me because for a multitude of reasons, but I know where he's at with it, and I know that he pulls the truth from it, as you should any book that you read. You find your truth in it and you pull it. But I'm a firm believer in that, and I actually love that he read that, because it makes all the sense in the world. We should be the protector of their hearts. Like, for the most part, that's what it's being said, that we're we're the nurturers. And I've said this on the last few shows. I think that we tend to put nurturer with mama. And so when we get in a position where we're nurturing a man, especially one who's not used to being nurtured, it's uncomfortable to him because it's foreign, number one. And number two, he thinks this is what my mother should have done. And yes, it is, but not because she was the mama. There's a mama nurturing, there's a woman nurturing. We are nurturers by nature. And so we as women have to understand that they can't totally heal their hearts on their own. That's why we're mates. That's why we belong together. That's why we're not here alone. Like, if we could live alone, then we would just be dropped in little pods with ourselves and go on about our business. But we're not. We're here collectively together, and I watched something recently that said when a woman and a man comes together and they create together, so they co-create, the energy of a man and a woman manifest things bigger and quicker. That there's something about the collective energy. I think it's balance. I've said that all along. I'm evolved and healed and whole, but I'm not balanced or in harmony unless I'm in relationship to a man, because I'm a woman. Part of me being a woman has to do with my relationship with a man. And I feel like the women that are, currently here, and the women that are in my most, in my circles anyway, my closest circles. I'm not going to say that now. Now that I'm about to say that out loud, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm going through my sphere, and I'm like, are the women in my sphere nurturing? Do they nurture their partner? Do they allow them to be vulnerable? Do they allow them, I can speak for maybe a couple of them, maybe. But I also, also have women in my sphere who are unhealed at the deepest level. And so they're not able to be in that space. You know what I mean? To do that either. But I hope he gets his earpods fixed. But Tiff, how do you feel about
So
particular verses about the woman taking care of the man's heart, basically?
my opinion on that is, I've been seeing a lot recently about females saying that they feel like they shouldn't have to build a man. I feel like that's part of what they are saying, but I also feel as though, like, if your man is willing to grow in that nature of being vulnerable with you, I feel as though that you should let him. Not only just that, it's just the fact that, like I said, people are comparing it to building a man or raising a man, and it's not that. And I just feel like this is considered a generational curse that needs to be broken. And also, I feel like if you can't get it, like, for example, my boyfriend, he didn't have his father around, but he had an older brother. So, like, sometimes I feel like when you don't have that man in your life, your older brother should step up to teach you and to let you know because he done experienced it. He know and he don't know some things. I just also feel like it's not really, you shouldn't knock them for it because they don't get it.
Right.
They don't get it from the mom, the grandmom, the auntie, the uncle. They don't get it. I just feel like they have to meet that right girl
Mm-hmm.
for them to be able to say or do that in that
Mm-hmm.
nature, be vulnerable or speak their piece just as so well we would do.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of men just listen to what we got to say, yapping back at them, and what do they say? Nothing.
Right. Right.
That's not fair
Exactly.
to them.
Right. And the initial video, which I wish I would have found, that's what he was saying. That was really how I wanted the show to go, was towards that. That he was basically saying that if a woman disregards a man in his vulnerability, he will never be vulnerable in front of that woman again. He will never allow himself, no matter what she does or what she says or what goes on, he will never allow himself to be vulnerable in that space again with her. Like it's ruined forever. Now, I don't know if that's the case with every man, but I can see where that would be the case. Like I can see,
For a lot of men.
yeah, for a lot
For
of
a lot of
men.
men, yeah.
And then if that's repeatedly done to them, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I love men the way that I do, but I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't have an explanation. I guess
You're a
because,
unicorn, Kim.
huh?
You're a unicorn.
But yeah, and you know, it's funny because there's so many reasons why I shouldn't, but you know, and people will say, you know, well, like some people will say something happened to them traumatically by a certain gender, and so therefore they don't choose that gender anymore, or you know, whatever be the case. Same thing with race. You know, like something happened to them with someone in that race, so now they're with this other race because whatever. Like you can use it in any way that you want to. But my trauma came from men and women, white men and women, which is probably why I'm not really, you know, a huge fan. But but I had just as much trauma from men as I had from women. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I don't advocate. I have come for women because I know that I do. I know there's a part of me which I think honestly is my spiritual side of me. I think that my ego side of me has not caught up to that in this particular case. And I have come to the understanding, the understanding about me, that because I have not rectified the woman that I was with the person that I was with for all those many years, for those 20 years, that when a, a woman shows up in front of me that's still broken, I can only see her weakness, because to me, that woman was weak, even though in my mind, it makes sense to know that she had to be strong enough to endure what she endured to get to the place that she could get out of that situation. But I haven't rectified that. So I don't, so it's really challenging for me.
I like that word you use too. I like that word ego.
I mean, it's
That's a
important
good
to
word.
I think women carry a lot of it. I think women carry more than they think they carry. I think they generationally have carried it. And I don't think that used to probably be the case. It's one of those things, you know, that ended up backfiring on us, you know, that we talked about and hated in
Adopted
a
it.
man, hated a
Yeah.
man's ego.
And really, in ego, we look at the ego as something always negative, but it's really not the ego. Everybody got to have it. That's a part of how everybody, a portion of that everybody should have. I feel like ego to me is just like energy on the go. You just got to make sure your energy don't go too far, then you lose balance.
Right.
So it's just like being self confident. You can be self confident, then you can get a level beyond that, which is when you cocky,
Right.
and then that's when you become abusive to other people. So it's levels to this shit, you know.
Yeah, no,
So
I absolutely agree with that. I
so you can
absolutely.
let your energy go too far, and that's what they call an egomaniac. Like now you drunk with your own energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Like
I'm
you're
like,
supposed to think highly of yourself, but you don't supposed to think highly than you ought to think. Is what I'm saying.
yeah, no,
It's a
I get
limit.
that.
It's a limit where we got to get to where it's a healthy place, what we call a happy medium. Like you
Right.
don't want to be so heavenly minded you're no earthly good. You don't want to be so earthly minded that you're no heavenly good. So you
Mhm.
have to be somewhere in that happy medium place. You know what I'm saying? You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I yes, I understand what you're saying. Like I agree with you 100%. I agree. And I think and we I did a show on narcissism recently. And it was more and I was holding myself accountable for narcissistic traits. All of my friends lost their shit. Gilly lost her shit. My daughter lost their shit. The only ones who were logical about it, honestly, were my sons. My youngest son came on the show and said, Mom, y'all don't understand that my mother was with a narcissist. He was a narcissistic sociopath for 20 years. He didn't even, he stopped acknowledging everybody else and spoke to me. He said, Mommy, you had to learn his traits
You are a
to
product of your
survive.
environment. You know what I mean?
Right. He
No
said,
matter
so of
what.
course. Yeah, he said, of course you have narcissistic traits. Of course you do. You needed to learn some of those traits just to survive in the same space with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was married to somebody that was clinically bipolar, and I
Mm,
had begun to show bipolar traits because it was so every day was different. Like you don't know, I never knew what I was coming home to, so I had to learn to survive in that type of environment, and it
mm,
was almost impossible. You know what I mean? Because you coming
mhm.
home one day it's all love, next day it's a war. You like, and you don't got to be done nothing really. You just
Right.
went to work. You come home, you know what I'm saying? You don't get no meal this day. Or come home the next day, you get a good meal and you're happy and you're hugging. And it do something to your mind to be in that
So
type of environment, any type of abusive environment. You know what I mean?
when do you know that you're picking up those traits? Like for both of y'all, because you said bipolar and Kim, you said narcissist. When did you know you were picking up the other person traits?
Yesterday, I literally, literally, this is exactly what happened. I'm not making this shit up. Literally, a few weeks ago, Soul Almond Raw, who I'm hoping still shows up again, it's always a production, so hopefully he'll come in. He did a spoken word and he called me and he said, I love you, but I wrote this. And he said, I would tell you if it was for you, but it's not for you. I did not write it for you. I had a conversation with one of my clients and this is what came out of it. And I wrote this. He said, and as soon as I got done reading it, I said, I'm going to post this and Kim's going to think it's about her. And so I said, well, I can't wait for you to post it. And he was like, no, fuck that. I'm reading it right now so that there's no confusion
Cause
in
he know
all of
you
it.
self conscious. He know you very self conscious.
So he read me the poem. And the last line in the poem said, I am a female narcissist. And the next verbiage out of my mouth was a very dramatic decision. I made it really quickly. And in that moment, when he read that whole thing to me, and it's one of those things, I hate to say it this way because I hate cliches, but it was almost like, they say when right before you die, your whole life flashes before you. Every relationship I had ever had flashed in front of me, and I saw everything he wrote in that poem. It reflected in me. It made all the sense in the world. It made sense to me. I didn't even know that it made sense. And I made a decision right then and there, and I got off the phone with him. And I'm telling you what I tell you right now, I've been going the fuck through it over that shit. I've been going the fuck through it. I've had multiple shows on it. But in his mindset, he deems me now and himself as well as being a narcissist or having narcissistic traits, but using them in a positive way now. Like, he believes that there's duality in everything, as well as I do too. I believe that too. I believe that I do manipulate, but I manipulate in a positive way. I use it at work, or I do come across a lot of angry people, men and women, and I'm able to manipulate with my words to keep it in a peaceful place or whatever, however you want to say, right? And going to what Tony said, I am self-aware, and I do love myself, and I am in love with myself, and I am self-confident. Some people view me probably as cocky. I don't want to be at a cocky level, but I dug myself out of hell. You think I'm not going to be proud of myself? I don't even use the word humble. I don't like the word humble. It's not a word that I'll use. I, uh, but I am proud for myself. I'm proud for myself to be able to stand here and feel this way about myself. After literally 7 years ago, I left a relationship that had nothing to do with how I felt. But my daughter said one night, "Mommy, you're so pretty." And I just started crying. I said, "I can't see it." And now I'm like, right now I'm looking at myself like, "Girl, you is something else." You know what I mean? And I'm not mad about that. Like, I if someone deems that as being cocky, but I feel like has to be a balance. I agree
You
with that.
don't like the word humble or
Not at all.
humility, but the thing is, you have a humble spirit because even though you saying what you saying, the way you treat people is humble. You don't treat people like they beneath you. This is what I'm saying. From what I know of you, you know what I mean. That's
People
what
aren't.
they go back to. See, you advocate for men, true enough, but you advocate for people. You know what I'm saying? A lot too. In general, like relationships, people, us all getting along, figuring things out. You know what I mean? You ain't doing this in vain. You ain't doing this just, oh, I'm just gonna be doing something just for the fun of it. It's the reason why you're doing it. You care about people. It takes us a sense of humility just to be down to earth enough to care about anybody, especially men now. In this climate we in a forever winter. It seems like, you know what I mean. We like, well, I can't take my coat off. Like, when can I take my coat off, man? I'm tired of wearing a coat everywhere I go. Got to wear football pads because you don't know if you're gonna get tackled or not. Got to keep a helmet on,
Yeah.
But you understand that, and what you don't understand, you dig into. You ask questions. You sincerely want to know. You're not asking just to be asking. Man, you didn't talk, so we have real talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We be on the phone for hours sometimes.
For real.
It wasn't even planned. It'd be organic though. It don't be
Yeah.
planned like that,
No, not at all.
and
We've had
it get
some,
deep,
yeah, in
emotional,
a
yeah,
sense. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
psychological, metaphysical. You know how we get down.
Yeah. On every level. Yeah. Like always. And I said that too. We definitely do. And again, you're one of those men that I've attracted in my life that you're probably one of you are, as far as I'm concerned, one of the first really truly wise men. And I mean, so let me say this. So you do remember how you and I became acquainted, correct?
I do.
Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Patrick Alexander is not the most amazing. He's one of the I love him so much. I still to this day, everybody in my circle, when I say Patrick Alexander, they know exactly who Patrick Alexander is. I love him and he is a wise man. But I mean it in the way that you are in a balanced way. Like you said, we've had spiritual conversations, we've had intellectual conversations, metaphysical conversations, whatever that may be, in that way. He's wise for what he does and who he is, by all means. But you were the first wise man spiritually, I think, where I realized the elevation at that point. Like I immediately realized that you were elevated at a level that I was not, and the men that I was attracting were not. You were definitely above me and still are, which is beautiful. I love it. um, but you were also able to lead. We are friends, but you were able to just as a friend alone to be able to step up as a friend and spiritually lead me. And I allowed you to do that. Like you gave me the safe space to allow you to be my spiritual leader, even though I didn't belong to you. But as you know, I have been having these conversations with men for a very long time on a multitude of reasons, for a multitude of
Right,
subjects, I should say, right? It's not just this subject.
right.
I on purpose, because how am I supposed to be the woman that I'm created for a man? I don't know about every other woman. I can't speak for everybody else, but I was created for a man. I am literally Y'all can say what you want, but I am literally damn near a perfect woman. You know why? Because I was receptive and I was teachable and I listened and I asked questions to high caliber men, not high value men, high caliber men that were elevated and that were healed and that were walking in their knowledge. They were in their wisdom.
And see, that's what I think that was different. Even our debates always ended up in love. You know, we didn't always agree on everything, but we always talked it through. And your mind was open enough to receive. You know what I mean? So I noticed that. That's why I said that you are sincere. I knew you were sincere when I first talked to you. I can tell. And I said, she really mean business. You know.
I
So
was
that's what
about it.
yeah, you was real
And
passionate. You sincere about what you was doing. You know, and
it
still is.
it means a lot to me that we as women, how how can I not? What am I supposed to do for my sons if I don't do this? Right? If I don't understand in the way that I can because they don't have who they need and I can't be that for them because I don't have what they need in a multitude of I'm not a man and I'm not black. So
Right.
I had no option as far as I was concerned, but to learn from every beautiful, brilliant, wise black man that I could get my hands on. I had questions I needed answers so I could at least say, so and so said to me, Tony said to me, Patrick Alexander said to me, Seven said to me, Soul said to me, Jim said to me, whoever it is that is in my sphere that I'm able to say. And there really isn't anybody in my sphere either that wouldn't allow any of my seeds to call them and have a conversation with them either. If I called you and said, my son's going through it, if he was okay with it, could he call you? You'd be like, hell yeah, he could call me. And
Right.
every man in my sphere is like that. They're not just my spiritual leader, they're my seed spiritual leader. And it was important because I knew before I even gave birth to them, you know this already, that I wasn't going to reproduce this. I didn't know what, but with what, but it wasn't going to be this. And so now, not knowing what I was doing at the time, now here we are, and I'm in a dilemma where I'm not a man, and again, I'm not black. I had no option. It wasn't an option for me. And then I want to be a woman that they can now look up to. I want to be, I don't even want to be that like grandma from back in the day and the Sunday dinners. I want to be that idea of it, but I want to be that version healed, whole, wise. I want to be the wise, G mama. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So that I can give
And we
them the
need that.
wisdom I never got, you
And
know?
see, this is what I look at it like. When it comes to wisdom, it's people say it's supposed to come with age, but that's not always the case.
Mm-mm.
And this is what we get, what we call old fools. Old fools is it's like a person that was living life, and lessons came because wisdom is always crying in the street. Understanding is always putting forth her voice. But it's up to us to get the lesson and walk in the lesson because that's what the wisdom is. The wisdom is when you use what you know to be beneficial. You know what I mean? It ain't just having knowledge. Knowing is half the battle. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to have your knowledge, but after you get your knowledge, you got to walk in what you know. Therefore, you producing wisdom now, and that's what the understanding you're gonna be left with, because that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding is the best thing in the world. You got to go through these channels though. You're gonna start off with believing because you don't know at first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people get stuck on belief though. People are so caught up in fantasy and belief. It's a good place to start, but faith without works is dead. So you can't stay there. You got to
Right.
add to your faith. He said, add to your faith virtue. That means make it more valuable by showing what you believe. If I say the building is on fire, if you believe me, you're gonna move accordingly. You're gonna be like, oh, let's get out of here.
Right.
If you don't believe, you're gonna stay there and be in danger.
I mean, it's
So
true.
so you go from faith to knowing, you're walking in your wisdom, and then you come with understanding. That's what you left with because you know why you did what you did now.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't just doing it like sometimes like you said you was doing stuff that was conscious before you was fully conscious.
Right.
You was doing evolved things before you was fully evolved, for your mind was open. Before you was enlightened, you was moving like you was enlightened.
Yeah.
because it was already a seed there. You just didn't know what it was. You know why? Why? I was thinking the same thing the other day. I was like, when I met my ex-wife, I knew I didn't want to. A lot of women I knew, a lot of girls I knew back then had at least one child, maybe or whatever. But I didn't want a ready-made family. I don't know why I was thinking like that. But now when I look at my life where it went to, all my children were born in wedlock. All my children were born by my ex-wife. But I don't know why I was thinking like that. Now that I realize some of the things I've seen in my evolution, okay, this is part of my purpose.
Hmm.
You know, my brothers ain't like that. My brothers got multiple baby mamas, and it's not to slight them or anything. I'm just saying I know my purpose. It's part of my purpose. For some reason, I was thinking like that, even though I don't even understand why was I thinking like this. I don't want to have kids everywhere, and not that I went out there doing things. I was always extra careful. You know what I mean? For some reason, I was just blessed that way.
Right.
But like you said, you had an evolved thought process, and that you didn't even comprehend at first. But so when you evolve, now you know why. So you didn't have the
Hmm.
why at first. You had the
Hmm.
what. That's the knowledge. See what I'm saying? You had the how. That's the wisdom. But the
Yeah.
why came later. That's where the evolution comes.
Right.
See, that's
That
where the
makes sense.
revolve and revival come from. You just keep coming alive, more and more coming alive. You know what I'm saying? That's what living is.
Yes. No, I agree. And does that make sense to you, Tiff? Because that's, I mean, where are you guys at? Because I feel like, and I say all the time, wisdom is knowledge applied. But I never, what you just explained, Tony, I hadn't. But in my mind, I'm thinking about Tiff and where you guys are at, and that I've heard you talk and what and the things that you say. Where do you think you guys are at on that journey, or even you just individually in that process?
Honestly, um, feel like I'm not gonna say past it, but like I'm getting like I don't know how to explain it honestly. Um, yeah, I really don't know how to explain it.
You have the knowledge. We can say that you have the
Like,
knowledge. So do you think that right now you guys? I think that you guys are in the place where you're taking your knowledge and applying it. So you want to
yeah,
you're taking what you know and making it actually happen. That's what I
so
think you're doing.
that's what I mean by getting past. Like I'm getting past the point of being able to know that I have knowledge to share. That's what I'm there to go. So I feel as though our knowledge to share would be more so like not only just because of we went through it, but to break generational curses as well.
See, this is where we come in, and this kind of going back to what we were starting off saying in the beginning. You know, we talked about the old fool, wise beyond your years. This was another saying that we used to hear all the time. That
Mhm.
means even though your age is not there, your wisdom is there because you decided to use your knowledge versus sit on it. I know something, and that's it. You know, if you know it and don't show it, you blow it. See what I'm saying?
I feel like
So
if I
so
didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't have wanted to share my knowledge. Like my knowledge just would have been in my brain with me,
it's
and that would have
exploding now though. It's
been
ready to
for
get out.
sure,
It's jumping.
for sure, for
That's
sure,
it.
for sure,
I can
It's
agree
like a
with that.
fire. Yeah, it's
I
like a
can
fire.
agree
You
with
can
that.
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Both of them, her and her boyfriend, both of them. I mean, when I hadn't heard him, he had only, I'd only just seen him in chat, and he came on my show and blew everybody away. Like I was just befuddled by all of it. And then we find out Tiffany's his girl. We're like, what the? Look at
You
you
remember
too,
that saying, out
shining
of the
and
mouth
shit.
of babes? You remember that saying, out of the mouth of babes?
Yes, I mean,
Because a lot
really.
of times people think, well, you're young, you don't know nothing, you can't tell nobody nothing. But the
Yep.
thing is, you can be old and not know nothing too, because you've been lessons have been presented to you
Right.
so for so many years, and you didn't if you don't capture, and it's like going to school and never graduating, going to school forever and never
Mhm.
getting a lesson,
Right.
never passing a test, never understanding nothing. I just went through school, you know what I mean, but I don't know nothing.
Right.
So and then you have somebody else that's studious, that's paying attention, that's attentive, that's listening.
Hmm.
Like you said, that's how you learn. You listen. You're humble enough to listen, even if you don't agree right away. You might, well, I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna listen anyway.
Hmm.
And then sometimes you catch the curveball, like, okay, I see how it connect. you'll miss the connect sometime when we so ready to respond. You're like, okay, we so ready to fight. You know what I mean? So we got our dukes up. But when you stop and listen, okay, now I can see how it come together. And then you see a lot of people that's of age, and we say respect our elders, but technically you're not an elder if you forfeit your eldership because the wisdom is not there with the
Saying
age.
that.
So I can't respect you because you're not where you should be. I don't have nothing to respect. You're
Right.
supposed to be able to pour into me. You know what I mean? When you're a certain age, it's expected for you to be able to pour into me. You know what I mean? I look
Mhm.
when I'm talking to my elder, I'm looking for something from you.
Right.
I'm looking for something. Yeah, it's my job because I'm a teacher by nature, but to pour into you also. But I'm looking for something from my elder, like
Right.
a nugget. I'm just listening. I'm gleaning. I talk a little bit less. I'm slow to speak, swift to hear. I'm like, I might get something to add to what I got,
Right.
something to keep my fire burning. You know what I mean? And then,
No.
but you got a lot of people that's lost that of that age and be like they're empty. Like what happened? You know what I mean? It's an
Mm-hmm.
old fool. It's like you live two lives, but you really didn't live neither one of them. You didn't learn nothing neither one because when you of age, you in 60s and 70s, I would think you would have something.
Right.
You should. You should.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. And my daughter gets that a lot too, Tiffany, where she is, especially in relationships. I hope she's not mad if I say this. Especially in relationships, she tends to get with men who are only a few years older than her and have more life experience. I don't have any grandbabies. She'll get with men that have maybe multiple children from multiple women or whatever. And then they don't want to listen to her evolution and her wisdom because of her age, because she's 25. And they're like, oh, you ain't been through nothing. I'm 30 and I've been through, but she don't have to have gone through it. And like I tell him, and like I tell her, it's a joke, but it's funny, not funny. It's one of them things. You better tell them who your mama is. You better let them know. Because if you
Pay
don't let them know
attention.
who your mama is, I'm going to let them. There's a reason why you are like you are. And but she gets it a lot where she is disrespected for her knowledge because of the age, even if the knowledge is absolutely dead on, even if she is attempting to walk in her wisdom,
Right.
I feel like her biggest conflict is finding men. She finds men who have knowledge, but they ain't even close to looking to evolve enough to be able to change the behavior that is reflective of the knowledge that they have. They good
Right.
at talking it. We gonna do this and we gonna building. They can say all the big words. We're gonna build together. We're gonna create together.
Catchphrases. Yeah.
And then they turn around and on the video games for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they got and I'm not saying that against that, but I'm just saying it could be anything else. You know what I mean? Whatever they're doing, they're not doing anything that has anything to do with building. They're not doing anything. And I think I got that from who was I watching the other day? I'll think of his name in a minute, but he was getting in somebody's ass about it. He said all this shit that is going on in the world. I cannot think of who he is. I'm not even gonna tell you who he is now because I'm gonna be embarrassed that I don't know him. I love him. And he was saying, like all the shit that's going on, and you want to pick up, you want to spend. I'm not talking about people who play games occasionally, okay? I'm talking about people who literally spend their entire existence on my son upstairs. One of them, 28, and he is evolved in a space that I can't even keep up with. Like I have to tell him to give me your books, let me read it, so that I can have a conversation with you at least, because I don't even know where he's on some next level shit, right? And he was incessantly playing his video games. And I said, of all the shit that of all the knowledge that you have, that this type of thing, doing it this excessively, has to be fucking with you. Like you won't drink tap water because it fucks with your pineal gland, but you'll sit up there and play these fucking games that were created by, people to do, you know what I'm saying? Like make it make sense, right? He's in a different place now. So, and I'm only using this because I can use him as an example. Again, nothing against anybody who does that. But what is his name? Now I got to look him up, y'all. It's terrible. Um, but anyway, but he was saying like there's so much that needs to be done and so much. And I think the younger generation, it's kind of like women. I saw another video where the guy said, that the women who are wise hang around with the women who aren't. So men can't differentiate us from them. You
That's
don't
it.
know because you hanging around with these bitches. You don't hold them accountable. You don't do any of these things. I shouldn't say bitches. That's not nice. You can tell I hang around with young.
In our mind, birds of a feather flock together. So for you to be attracted to that crowd, even if we know you're a good woman or possibly a good woman, we're gonna second guess it. We're gonna second guess it. Be like, well,
I
why is she
mean,
hanging with them? She don't even really fit with them. Seems like she don't fit, but she with them for a reason. So I don't know about her. That's what we gonna think.
you know, I have broken up with men because of women that they've had in their life or their past. I mean, wrong or right or whatever. But I feel like if you know, if you're attracting and with, especially if you're with a woman who is not evolved and who has bad behavior, there's the first thing that I'm going to do is address myself. Are you picking me because I'm leveling you up, or are you choosing me because I'm at the level of the chicks that you fuck with? But I have told men before, called it off relationships because I'm not going to fuck with you if you fuck with women like this. Like that tells me something about that whole dynamic, and I have a problem with it. So I
Mhm.
get that. I've always said in my own defense that I am the person. Like I'm the one that, you know, my dad, you say, you are who your friends are. No, daddy, my friends are who I am. I'm that person in the group, right? I'm just being honest. I'm that person in the group. Like most of my friends,
You influence them,
I'm the influencer. Yeah. I
right?
mean, I know that sounds,
That's
but
good
it is
though.
what it is. It is, I'm the one, I'm the influence. I'm definitely out there. You know what I mean? I'm the one, I'm definitely that person. I'm not acting like them. I don't get, and now it's funny because I say something to my dad. I said, recently we had the conversation and I was like, Daddy, I said, remember all them times when you said, I said, now do you realize that? He was like, oh yeah, I know now. I get it now.
The ringleader.
Yeah, I know exactly what's going on. Let me say hi to the Blacko Jock. They are Blacko Jack, the Blacko Jack, for showing up. Everybody, real quick, like, subscribe, share the shit out of the show. We've been on for over 2 hours. I'm sure Jay is probably losing his shit. Look, he's private chatting me like, shut it down. You rock. Oh, I love him. Here I'm thinking he's screaming at me and he's just dope. But anyway, I'm gonna shut the show down just because it's been 2 hours. Like
It's
it's
been a
10:10
good show.
and it's the wrong time, by the way. It's 10:10 and the wrong time. Um, I have a huge day tomorrow, very important day for me. So if everybody can send love and light to me, that would be great. I'm thinking about making some changes. So I have a luncheon with some big people, with some builders in the area. So let's see what's happening. Tiffany, thank you, my love. I appreciate you. Tony, Natasha, the Black Jack. That's very interesting. I need to know about that. And who else was here too? Leo and Mr. Mims, Natasha. I think I got everybody. And the people that I can't see that were here that I can't see you guys if you don't type. So I apologize, but I appreciate you. Come back anytime you guys like. I'm here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm on Podbeans on Sunday. Tiffany's on Podbean. Tony's on TikTok now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're conscious on there too.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiffany is not motivational quotes on TikTok. It's get motivated.
The number 2 day underscore.
Her, that one. You heard what she said, you guys. You can come back and watch the show at any time. Um, and come check me out. There she goes. Yeah, she's got a big red heart. So sweet.
Yes.
And yes. You guys go follow her. Follow her click her link in her bio. Follow her on Podbean.
Yes.
And I would not say this if I didn't believe this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. What is your boyfriend's name? Because I only know him by his screen name.
His name's Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
Tiffany and Sean. Now I can say, hi, Sean. Seriously, especially for their age, but I hate to say that, but I am saying that because I think it's important that they are the age that they are and have the wisdom that they have and the knowledge, and they're teachable and receptive, both of them, but they'll also fill your ear with some stuff. So support them and love on them because it's important that we do so. Not to mention they're going to be taking care of us in about 25, 30 years too. So we want to be nice. And I appreciate everybody for showing up and spending time with me. I love y'all and I believe in you. And listen, for all of my men, especially my Black men, you are needed and valuable and relevant and important. And I need you and we need you collectively. And although I cannot speak for every woman, I will speak for myself and say that there is not just me. There are other women who love and honor and appreciate you. And we are going to fight like hell to change ourselves, to evolve ourselves and elevate ourselves to be the best women that we can be for you. That shit is going to happen come hell or high waters. I promise you that. So thank you. Mwah. I love you and I appreciate y'all. And we'll see you next week.
No problem. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.